T. Walker with Walker Wine Sessions, back after a year and a half or more hiatus. So it's good to be back. I've been away from the vineyard, away from wine for far too long. So let's just say this is maybe episode 10. I can't remember exactly where I left off, so that'll be down below in the YouTube notes which episode it is. Anyways, I'm going to start with this wine from Wente Vineyards out of California in the Livermore Valley. I've reviewed this even in the 10 reviews for sure once, maybe twice already. I have a very minimal but personal history with this winery, and always just think it over delivers. I had one maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and for essentially 15 bucks. One of my favorite wines. So I'm not sure if the last one I had was 2018 or 2019, but this is the 2019 Wente Vineyards Cabernet Sauvignon. As you can see, we're opening it right now, so I'm gonna give it a taste, let you know my thoughts right out of the bottle, which is great to know, and then revisit in maybe 20 minutes or so after I eat a little dinner, after some lamb and potatoes. So, but this Cab Sav, per the label, you've got to be 75% in California. 75% of the wine has to be that grape if you put the grape on the label. So this wine is 77 Cabernet Sauvignon. And then probably why I like it so much too is this is it's got 10% of Petit Sirah. And then the remainder is Petit Verdot, Cab Franc, Malbec, and a splash of Zinfandel. I believe it's like 2% of the last couple varieties there, rounded it off. But so a little over 3/4 Cab Sav, but then a really kind of classic California blend with a smattering of Bordeaux varietals and Petit Sirahs in. So yeah, really looking forward to this wine. Like I said, $14.99 retail where I am. I've seen it before, even a little bit less. At Trader Joe's when I used to live in North Carolina. Now I'm back in Florida, which is my home state, the Sunshine State. So, as you can see, right out the bottle, 2019 Wente Cab Sav. Southern Hills is what they call this, this entry-level wine for them. They do have a tier right above it, called from the Wetmore Vineyard, which I don't think I've had, certainly in recent past. So I'd like to try that. Where I am, it's $25, and assuming I'm gonna like this, I should go out and try it for sure. Right off the bat, just beautiful, plush, soft, velvety, luscious fruit, which for most people buying Cab, entry-level Cab from California, I just think that's what you want. So, man, just love the nose. It's so inviting, so supple, and it's kind of funny because as I'm talking, the descriptors that I'm using aren't even flavors. They're actually more of a texture than an approach more than even just the fruit flavor. So I don't know if that's how my brain's wired or just the wine quality, or but anyways, big fan. But it's definitely got those kind of, I think, classic brambly, darker fruit profile from like kind of plum and blackberry, maybe a little bit, definitely like a raspberry too, that kind of like if you were making raspberry jam on the stove, I would say. But with that fruit, for 15 bucks, you've got this beautiful kind of graphite mineral component there. That's just really lovely to balance out that big rich fruit that a lot of people go to California to see. And I will say, I don't know if I mentioned this is, so they're estate vineyards, all estate grown, which is awesome for the size of this winery. It's been around for such a long time, like I've talked about before, family owned. And I've met, Phil Wente, who's probably, I don't know, 60 or so, but awesome guy from my one interaction, and has been making phenomenal wine, I believe, just for such a long time. The quality is consistent, and the Livermore Valley is situated south of San Francisco, not particularly very far. And what's really cool is that this area is cool, and these grapes, it's crazy. These grapes, Cab Sav, and then that Petit Sirah, etc., they were harvested. The harvest window for all of those grapes, depending on which grape it was from early October, the 2nd of October, till November 9th. That means they were picking grapes still at November 9th, which is just, that hang time is incredible. Where I was working last in North Carolina, by November 9th, I mean, it was crazy hot in the summer, but by November 9th, I mean, we'd had a freeze, no doubt, by then most likely. So just amazing, incredible hang time to develop those flavors of the grape variety, to reach that, what they call usually phenolic maturity of the grape, that gives you that ripeness, which was such a difficult thing for us to achieve in North Carolina, where I last worked, predominantly in the vineyard. Such a hard, difficult thing to do, reach that phenolic maturity of the grape variety, giving it that length of time that each specific variety needs to reach its peak, because we all peak at different times in life. I've had zero wine today, zero alcohol, so usually that first sip of wine or any alcohol you have is going to be somewhat alarming on your palate, because really your body doesn't like alcohol. It rejects it, as it is some form, to an extent, of a poison. But even that first sip is just luscious, soft, those kind of plush, present, velvety, but soft tannins, big fruit component, round in the mouth, and just enough of that kind of juicy, snappy acidity to keep it fresh on the palate, which is lovely. No one likes a goopy wine, and I also don't particularly care for myself, which is a personal preference, highly acidic wines either. I just love the secondary and tertiary components of this wine, the components past the fruit, which is the kind of primary thing, but man, really, just kind of loamy soil with that graphite mineral component, dusty, a little bit of a, not graham cracker, but some kind of dark biscuit, molasses biscuit cookie, wherever they make that, probably in the UK. This wine is just so Moorish. It's so lovely. I'm gonna cut this video off, come back in just a second, recap after I have it with a little bit of food, have it when it opens up, and I'll pour myself right now a splash more. So we'll get 20 or 30 minutes of air on this wine. I don't think it needs much. And as of note, if this is the same vintage, I remember having this wine over the course of 3 or 4 days, easy, and it was delicious all 3 or 4 of those days. So off to a good start. All right. All right. Back after dinner. So for me, this wine has just kind of been 25 minutes in. This wine's been super consistent. I'd say it's opened up a little bit. Nothing's changed for me dramatically. I would say that this wine has really elevated my food experience, specifically with the heavier spice things. Let me explain. So I happen to have two kind of recently freshly ground spice blends. One of them is called Baharat. It's kind of cinnamon, cumin based Middle Eastern, and then I believe it's Iranian. The other one being kind of like a taco blend with cumin, a little actually cocoa, and then some dried peppers blended in. And so I did that little spice rub on both lamb, little tiny chop things. And man, the one that was a little bit stronger, actually, that the Mexican kind of taco cocoa pepper, red pepper heat with the cumin, this paired beautifully with that. So I would say this wine going with strongly flavored things, meats like barbecue, would be fantastic. Anything that's kind of heavily spiced, I feel like this would pair really well with. The fruit component kind of continues to evolve a little bit. I feel like there's a cherry liqueur kind of thing, even with the weight of the wine. The wine has lovely weight. Other than that, I mean, there's that raspberry, that kind of cooked raspberry that you make in jam. I would say maybe even more so like, I lived in Oregon for a bit, like a Marionberry, which is, at least my understanding, is the cross between a blackberry and a raspberry. It's in that realm for me. That's really lovely. Maybe not as bright as raspberry, but a really solid wine. I highly recommend it. Look out for it. I would recommend that if you like California wine, if you like Zinfandel, probably if you like Sirah, if you like just in general Cabernet Sauvignon, this is a lovely crowd pleaser type of wine you can bring to a party that, I mean, boy, everyone is going to enjoy this if you like red wine. I would say even a Pinot Noir drinker will like it because of its softness, because of the roundness, the suppleness that it has. It has beautiful texture, and for $15, it's a no-brainer. So, great party wine, great gathering wine that suits everything. And 5 stars, 10 stars, lots of stars. Maybe I'll have a point system someday. Please, if you watch this video, I know before I left, I had one review, I believe, and I believe I looked at it, she subscribed. So if you're out there and you watch this, please comment again. My goal, and stay on me, write me a message or whatnot, but my goal is to do one a week. I really would love to do one a week. I miss it dearly. It's such a big part of my heart. It's something that has, although I'm out of the wine business now, selling real estate, hopefully I will get back into wine at a later date in life, whenever that may be. But I've learned so much, experienced so much, and engaged so much with sensory things, with the palate, with your nose and smells, and you can kind of attach to nature a little bit here and there. But I've also met some wonderful people, seen great, just beautiful culture, whether it be in the Northwest or the South of North Carolina or Italy. And so I'm just very blessed to be able to have traveled and worked in the industry, and wine is an amazing product. And so please share your thoughts. I'd love to hear them, and if you have questions, please let me know too. I'd love to answer any questions if I can. I would be happy to serve and give you any advice or just tidbits that I can, to kind of elevate your experiences that you have with wine. So Wente, fantastic wine. I think I'll go back and buy the $25 cab. Check it out, see what the difference is for $10 more. Could be stellar, might not be worth it, who knows. So but I've got a feeling that they're probably very consistent across the board. And also they have, where I am, I know they have, he makes Chardonnay, makes Merlot, makes all sorts of blends. the website, they've got all sorts of wines that you will never see that are probably fantastic. You know, go to Wine Club only, but there are a few entry-level wines you'll see out and about. A Chardonnay, I believe, called Morning Fog, that when I sold it was delicious, well balanced. These wines are beautifully balanced. And I would like to finish on this note too. To wrap that up, Chardonnay, there's a Merlot called Sandstone, I think. I actually saw it this morning. I haven't tried that I know of, so maybe that Merlot I'll try, because I haven't had Merlot in a while, and I actually really enjoy Merlot. One of my favorite red wines ever was predominantly Merlot from Bordeaux. So yeah, I want to revisit those, maybe the mid-tier cab. But I want to finish with one of the things that I love about this wine too. It's lovely. It lasts for a while on the shelf once you open it, for a few days at the very least. It's supple, it's got texture, it's got character to it, which is awesome. One of the things too is I'm sensitive to wine. I don't know if I'm sensitive to sulfur or not. I know I am to an extent at the winery in high doses, but certain wines, usually inexpensive wines, but certain wines really flare up my, I have an inflammatory kind of allergic reaction to where I will sneeze more often and kind of get clogged up. And I tend to find that more in domestic wines and American wines, but also in inexpensive wines too. So if that's maybe something that you think you have from time to time, depending on the wine that you have, I would say that this wine for me is very clean. I don't have any reactions to it, which is great. So that is awesome, and I think that is easily up there with, it's a high quality wine, and my body, which is a very high metabolism, it runs through whatever I put in it. So I'm usually very reactive to whatever it puts in this case wine, and it's a very clean wine for those of you that might be suffering from some kind of, from some really, I believe, lesser quality wines just because of how they're made. So another topic for another day, but fantastic wine, Wente. Please leave a comment, leave me a note, share something with me, a wine that you've had. I would greatly appreciate it. T. Walker Wine Sessions. Who knows what video this is? Let's just say 10 question mark. I will be back in a week. And if you have a suggestion for me, if you have something in your area that you want me to try, I would love to leave a comment of what it is. If I have it in my area, I'd love to try it. I feel like I like trying wines in the kind of mid-teens to maybe $30 range, which is my budget one. And I think you can find really great values to share with one another, which is a great thing to do. If my budget allowed, it'd be great to try $50, $100 plus wines more often than not, but I can't afford that. And nor do I particularly, I would like to afford that, but I can't afford it. And, I think it's great when we discover these beautiful values in the wine industry or anything in life. But with wine, there's so many selections out there. It's hard to sift through it all, find a trusty retailer that you like that will serve your needs, not push whatever they want, and kind of they will discover your palate. And that's something that I can help with too. If you need a hand with that, I'm happy to talk with you about what you may want to explore beyond what you already currently enjoy. I would be happy to help you with that. So please leave a comment. But yeah, let me know if there's something that you find in this kind of 10, 20, 30 buck range. If I have it here, entice me to try it, so we can look at it together. So and or maybe it's a varietal, maybe it's a region. I'll go all over the board, but I'll be shopping from, for the most part, what I have here in my town of South Florida, but also I guess a little bit from what I buy personally too, in the realm of maybe a wine club or two, or my past experiences where I buy from a winery I've worked for, and so I may throw some of those in there too, which might be slightly more obscure. But I look forward to it. Tune back in next week, tomorrow, if you're watching these videos, and thank you so much for joining me. Like the video if you liked it. Leave a comment. Thanks so much.